Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans potentially signing Diontae Johnson. I would actually really love to see the Texans pick up Diontae Johnson. Earlier today, the Baltimore Ravens decided to waive Diontae Johnson, who has struggled ever since becoming a Baltimore Raven. In 4 games, he only has 6 receiving yards, but before that, in Carolina, before the trade, he was playing some really good football. 7 games, he had 30 receptions, 357 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, and was averaging 51 total receiving yards per game on the Carolina Panthers. With Andy, for most of that time, Andy Dalton was throwing him the football. Now he goes to Baltimore, and it hasn't been good at all. 4 games. I will say, not trying to defend him, but only 5 targets and 1 reception for 6 receiving yards. And after giving up a 5th-round pick for him about a month ago, a little bit over a month ago, they're now deciding to waive Diontae Johnson. I would love to see the Texans jump the gun and pick up Diontae Johnson. Look, it's not like the Texans need a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 for that point, but because you have Nico Collins, who's been fantastic this year, has 850 yards in only 9 games with 6 touchdowns. He's just been phenomenal. One of the best wide receivers in football, if you ask me. I think it's definitely top 5. And then you have Tank Dell, who I think has been a little bit disappointing this year, if you ask me. But still, I think he's been good, better than Diontae Johnson. I think Tank Dell's been disappointing, but I think he's been better than Diontae Johnson. He has 570 receiving yards in 13 games with 9 starts, 2 touchdowns. I think we all expected a better year for Tank Dell, but I think he's had to come back from a lot of adversity with a bad leg injury and getting shot. So, but I don't know if Tank Dell and Nico Collins is enough for C.J. Stroud. I think Dell and Nico Collins with Stephon Diggs was, but the Texans lost that. And I'm not too confident in the wide receiver 3 options for the Texans. I like guys like John Mechie and Robert Woods and Xavier Hutchinson. I really do. I like Mechie. I hope he has a good future with this team. But in 11 games this year, he only has 182 receiving yards and a touchdown. So I really hope that he can become a better player, but I don't really know if he's a wide receiver 3 or steps up as a wide receiver 2 on a championship team. Like, what happens if one of Tank or Nico gets hurt? That means John Mechie's going to step up and be the wide receiver 2. The Texans need to add in someone else. Not only so they can have more talent to the wide receiver room that I think already needs it right now, but also you can have more talent if one of Tank or Nico were to get hurt, which we don't want to see. But outside of John Mechie, you got Robert Woods, who is a solid vet. I think him and Stroud have some chemistry. His under 24 receiving yards on the season, I think, was way better last year with 426 receiving yards in 14 games. But I don't know if he's a wide receiver 3 on a team that's going to try to win a Super Bowl. And I know this might sound crazy saying the Texans could compete for a Super Bowl. I 100% believe with their defense, with the rush attack that they have, and Derek Stingley Jr. with the way he's playing in the secondary, with the rookies, Bullock and Lassiter, with this defense, the way they're playing, if you could have C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins get it going, and Joe Mixon as well in the postseason, the Texans are a threat to win not to win a Super Bowl, but to potentially go to a Super Bowl. I don't know what happens when you start facing those NFC teams, but I think they definitely 100% have a shot to win the AFC with the team they have. They just got to figure some things out. And one of those things I think is adding in another wide receiver, and that's why I'd love to see the Texans add in Diontae Johnson. Look, I don't think he's amazing. I think he's inefficient because he has some great games and then he'll have some bad games. Reminds me of another Houston sports player, but it's basketball. It's Jalen Green. That's who it reminds me of. But, I will say I don't think he's better than Nico or Tank. but I think he's a lot better than the wide receiver 3 options the Texans have currently with John Mechie, Robert Woods, and Xavier Hutchinson. And I think he's a great option to step up as a number 1 guy or a number 2 guy if anything happens to Nico or anything happens to Tank. And he's an extra guy that CJ knows he can throw the football to. I think he'd be a great target for CJ. Let me know your thoughts on the potential signing for the Texans in the comment section, and peace out.